Okay, hello everybody, welcome to the live stream. We've got quite an unexpected and highly dangerous, in fact, by the looks of it, setup, where we have some severe storms right now, which are really getting going. If we have a look at the main view, look at the amount of lightning strikes that are being shown per second, hopefully when our lightning graphic decides to show up. We're just going to reload that, because for some reason that's not working correctly. We'll get that working in a second, but let's just say there is a ridiculous amount of lightning involved with these thunderstorms, which are now moving up into the southwest at this moment of time. I'm not sure why the lightning detector is not working correctly. I'm just going to fiddle with that and see what's going on here. There we are. Okay, there we go. There we are. So you can see that there's a ridiculous amount of lightning occurring with this system at the moment as it's nearing Western-super-Mare near Bristol, and these storms are going to head up in a northeasterly direction throughout the day. Now, many of you were probably thinking, I did not see this in the forecast. How is this happening? And I'd like to inform you, by the way, right now these storms have about 135 lightning strikes per minute. Like these are ridiculous numbers that we're seeing right now. I've got a webcam here that is closer to the channel area, and we're going to see if we can pick up any lightning strikes, but for now it doesn't look like it. But look at the dots, they're just pretty much constantly appearing, and this is in part because of our energy in the atmosphere today. So you know how today it's very hot. It's very hot. We've got 30s around this area, and that is allowing for the more build up of storm energy, potential storm energy that could be used in the case that storms get going. And most models were actually under convecting for the time of year, not for the time of year, for this event. And it was pretty evident when we looked in the morning. We could already see convection that wasn't forecasted by pretty much any other model, apart from our good old friend UKV. And I'm just going to get that up now so I can show you what I mean. So the UKV, if we have a look at precipitation rate for the current run, so you can see it already has some intense convection around this area. And if we move it along here, you can see how this just intensifies into quite a nice little thundery system. It is a little bit less widespread on the 12Z run, but you can still see it gets its point across pretty effectively. None of the models were actually projecting this convection at all, even though even the Rome 12Z was not predicting this convection, even though it was ongoing. So you can see it looks like quite an intense precip core at the moment, and hail is very possible with this. We've got sufficient shear at the moment for potentially Boeing segments or supercells, and this is also going to allow for a lot better hail that could be damaging in nature. They might hit me later this evening. Yeah, definitely. They certainly could, as they're moving east. They're going to move east, and if they're able to maintain successfully, then we could see a long-tracked storm with potential supercells, potentially damaging hail, etc. And this is kind of the spark we've been waiting for all day. The storms have been producing lightning on and off all day, but now, all of a sudden, it's just absolutely lit up. It's taking advantage of the atmosphere that it's in, with all of the cape, with all of the shear starting to build up, and now we're reaching the high-risk area that most people are going for. We've got Skies of the UK, we've got Handry, who are making these convective outlooks. I decided not to, because I was more focused on the heat, alright? The UK VO3Z, was a bit of a monster, getting 41, 42 degrees in there. But anyway, these storms are going crazy, and the risk area is around up here, around where the 7 is, and it kind of meets up with Wales, etc. And right now, if we have a look at where this is headed, you can see it is headed, well, the lightning activity is headed in this direction. I'll get my pointer up. That'll take a bit to load because it loves loading when I'm streaming. Now you can see the lightning activity on this system is extremely elevated. Now there's a reason I've turned off lightning strikes in net weather, and that is for the sole reason, and yeah, here's a line here. This is where the lightning activity is heading. We may see more cells here take advantage of this and start to electrify later on, maybe resulting in some more stuff. But yeah, very intense system ongoing at the moment. I've got 2 webcams that should be hopefully in focus later on. We might be able to get some storms. It looks like the risk is a lot more southern than expected, however, so I'm not sure how useful these will be. We'll head over to the first webcam to start off with, and you can see there is some precipitation in the distance, some pretty clear precipitation, so that might be to do with a storm, but we'll have to see if we actually get any flashes on here. Of course, if we were actually looking at the storm itself, we'd be getting constant flashing, and maybe that was a flash there on the screen, but we're just going to keep observing that for now. Our graphic system is made to detect the highest warning that the Met Office has issued, and normally in these thunderstorm scenarios you'd expect a yellow thunderstorm warning or something. Well, firstly, I don't believe the Met Office have actually issued a thunderstorm warning at all for these, which is kind of crazy considering the lightning activity we're seeing at this time. And number 2, we've got a red extreme heat warning in, because we're going to see some ridiculous temperatures coming up in the next few days. However, that's not what we're here for. We're here for the thunderstorms. So let's have a look at our lightning activity overall. Let's try and see the bigger picture. If we just go here, we're going to have to wait a bit for our good old lightning maps to load again. But the lightning activity, as you saw, there we are. Look at that. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And if I just interact with it, I can see the amount of strikes per minute on this, and we're seeing up to 150 strikes per minute on this cell, which is ridiculous. This is heading into Glastonbury, Wells, Axbridge. It's ridiculous what we're seeing at the moment with these storms. Like, this lightning is crazy levels. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I haven't seen much higher rates than this on one singular storm, and this looks like it's just going to keep on going, really. It could extend further south. We don't really know at this point because it seems to be taking mind of its own, but going with the UKV, it does look like it could do something like that at this time. There is some buffering. Okay. Oh yeah, no, that is awfully laggy, isn't it? Blimey. I'm going to work on trying to get that lag down. Can you hear me okay, Metsu? That does actually look better, I think. I'm just going to open up the chat on a separate computer so it doesn't completely go. But look at how deep that precip core is actually getting now. So you can see I might actually change my colour to something that you can actually see clearly. We'll go black. And you can see we're getting some very deep reflectivity values going into the purples now. So that suggests that we may have some damaging hail ongoing at this time as these storms continue to move to the Bristol to the Swindon area, and from this track it may move up to me. I'm not completely sure at this time. Yeah, it looks like it may be on the track towards my direction, so I might be able to experience it while looking at the radar, which is kind of cool. And you can see it's kind of starting to separate on our good old lightning tracker here. 142 strikes per minute at this time by the looks of it. It has just frozen. which is wonderful. But yeah, pretty significant stuff occurring. Looks like my Edge tab has now just froze, which is brilliant. I'll just switch to the webcam for now, so we can see if we can catch potentially any lightning strikes that do come through. I'm gonna have to close Edge. See how that goes. Okay. Well, we have something back. But I did just tell it to close, so it might do that in a second. Okay. Just loading up the chat here. So I'll just switch back over to our radar map again, seeing as it looks like Edge has successfully ignored my instruction, which is actually good news. But you can see yet again a very deep precip core, and look at those. Yeah, you can see it's starting to expand now. I'll move that lightning detector window over so we can actually see more of the lightning. And now appears to be expanding in magnitude. It looks like Wales is about to get hit by this, yeah. But that is ridiculous. What we're starting to see the lightning output from this is so incredibly elevated. Just moving this into a good spot for you lot. Okay, let's get the chat up. Sorry about this, I'm having some issues which mean that getting the chat up is a bit annoying. However, now I can do exactly that. Can hear you nice and clean. Okay, good. Yeah, so it's just Metsuit in the chat for now. But you can see the extreme amount of lightning being shown here. It's extreme. That is crazy. Like, the potential was definitely there. We had an all or nothing scenario. We're definitely having the all at this point. I'm gonna bend that and then so we can move it around a bit. So let's have a look at that precip core. That is quite something, if I'm being honest. That is a ridiculous precip core we've got going there, and it's really starting to maintain itself. So if we go back in the runs, you can see maybe it was due to the radar site being here, but as we move along through, you can see how this precip core just maintains, and yeah, it builds, and now that is probably turning into some sort of hail core. We're going to have to look for hooks as well on radar, because the shear is in place, it is there to potentially produce something big. I'm looking at the live stream, and it looks like my lag is absolutely awful. I'm not sure why it's doing that, because it shows the output as okay. Yeah, no, that is quite annoying. I don't know why that's happening. That's so stupid. What on earth? May temporarily stop the stream. It might go down, but hopefully it should keep going. I go into settings, maybe I might be able to diagnose what's going on here. Nasty little core there showing up. That is nasty. Okay, I'm going to temporarily stop the stream and hopefully it won't end the whole thing. If it does end the whole stream, then I'll just... That looks better. That looks better. Okay, I'm monitoring the situation closely. Okay, when will it hit Bath is what we have somebody in the chat. And I think the answer to that is not long. Yeah, Bath is pretty much in the path of this. If we just take a look here, I'll turn my pointer thingy on, and now it says encoder overload. The quality may be a bit worse, but we should now be experiencing less lag overall. But yeah, we're back on stream now. You can see some extremely intense lightning that we are now seeing. You can see we've got quite a nasty precip core and maybe a hook trying to form down there. So severe wise, it looks like it might be bowing out. So there's a lot of cape in the atmosphere. There's a load of cape in the atmosphere that is leading to this storm right here exploding. You can see the lightning intensity over there. It's pretty ridiculous. We're getting over 100 strikes per minute at this point. And then we've got some pretty deep precip cores, which indicates that we've got some hail in there that's probably large. So, I mean, it would be nice to cool down from the heat, I'll tell you that. But it certainly looks interesting. We've got like a little hook feature there that could be tornadic as well. Now, it may be sound like I'm clickbaiting, but there is a good environment today for strong to severe storms, and it was quite a conditional risk today, but the fact that we're seeing initiation now does prove to us pretty indefinitely about what is occurring. And we're seeing lightning just pop up constantly, really, at this point. So you can see here we've got the radar up. We've got a precip core coming in. And it's looking pretty severe at this point. So there we go. Now we've got the pen up. So we can see we've got this thing here. And we've got quite a large precip core. So you can see here, right here, pretty nasty precip core we've got going. And this precip core could be leading to some... Can hear faint rubbles in Bath. Yeah, you will. It's still quite far away, but the constant nature of this lightning is just to the point where you're going to hear it from quite a long way away. So, I mean, like, there could be some nasty winds with this as well. You can see how it's just kind of bowing out in effect. And the shear is in place for it to organise like this. Like, this organisation is helping it survive. And yeah, you can see just the frequency of lightning. Will it develop into a supercell? Now, I would usually say no, but there is enough shear in the environment that we could see a supercell structure come out of this. Like, uh, the deep layer shear is over 40 knots, I believe, today, and then we've got pretty significant Cape values over 2,000 widely in this area, which is why we can just see the amount of lightning coming from this storm. It's just skyrocketing pretty much off the charts. So there is a chance we could see a mesocyclone develop we could see an embedded supercell in this system, definitely. An isolated tornado, large hail possible at this point. This is one of those more high-end thunderstorm days. Like, it's not one of those April shower thunderstorm days where you get like the occasional lightning. This is like a decent summer thunderstorm, pretty much, that we're seeing right now. Let's have a look at the potential impact areas that are now likely to be here. We've got Glastonbury, we've got Wales, we've got Bristol, all likely to get hit by this thunderstorm soon. Oh, look at that! The Met Office app has given me a thunderstorm symbol, and look at that. That's even more deep reflectivity readings. We've got nasty reflectivity, really. Look at that. There is some deep stuff going on there. So that's indicative of some very large hail. So if you are in this way in the target zone, really, I would suggest. So the 1 second. So the target zone would probably be here. Hello? I'm trying to draw. Maybe it will let me draw in a second. I mean, the target zone would be west of this storm complex. So if you're within that area, so you're in Bath, Shepton Mallet, Wells, Bristol, that whole area, even Swindon later down the line, it looks like there's some severe hail coming out of this that could result in some nasty damage if you're not careful. Okay, there we go. We're back. So I'm just going to draw out a zone here. I'd say if you're in this zone here, I'd suggest covering your car up pretty much. Can't see the whole thing, but I'll just move. The things that I've shot are Marlborough and Ludgers Hall. So if you're in that direction, then I'd suggest covering your car up or something, because it looks like quite an intense complex. How far will it go before fading? I think it looks like it will go for quite a bit before fading. It looks like it will go into some unintensification, re-intensification stages. Oh, like this is a literal ridiculous Met Office app screenshot. I've got a thunderstorm symbol, 31 degrees, 36 degrees, 38, 39. It's ridiculous. But anyway, a pretty nasty thunderstorm ongoing there. And you can see the lightning strikes there seems to be going out towards Cardiff, which means that one of our webcams might get this soon. So I'll just head over to our webcam for a second. See if this one is showing anything. It's being a bit laggy by the looks of it. Maybe it's lost power because of lightning. Maybe. That is annoying. That means we just can't see anything. Maybe I'll just have to reload. We're back. I'll have to keep watching that. Thank you, Muvs. I try my best. We'll head back to radar for now, because I don't think these webcams are pulling up much, if I'm being honest. Forgot what my keybind was to get it back to the main one, so I'm just clicking it. So in the immediate impact zone of this, we've got Glastonbury. They're about to get hit by it Somerton, I think that is. Wells as well. You're about to get hit by this pretty intense thunderstorm. And the stuff we're getting right now from here is just ridiculous. Look at all of those strikes. That is just pure insanity, really. I'm gonna move this along a bit more so you can see more of it. See the lead time. It looks like Midsummer Norton is about to get hit by lightning. It's completely insane what we're seeing right now in terms of temperatures. And that is just helping these storms feed on those temperatures pretty much, and then just be able to produce something as crazy as this. Absolutely crazy work. So this is now organising quite a lot more. So like before, we had just quite a messy. In fact, if I go back, look at this. We had quite a messy complex, but now the shear and the environment that it's in is allowing it to reorganise. And we need to watch here to see if there are any features that could be supercellular. Like for example, maybe it looks like it's going to load for a bit, but maybe here could be seeing some sort of hook feature as we go through. These storms are ridiculous, I'll tell you. These are just electrifying like crazy. Like, I mean, what on earth? So the peak of activity should occur around this area here, around Swindon, and then it should start to wind down around Oxford, Watlington, Tame, before re-intensifying around Luton, and then probably dying around this area here. That's what I'm currently thinking at the moment. Why haven't Metals picked up on this? Well, I mean, it's really odd. So the Met Office app is now showing thunderstorm symbols seen as there's one ongoing. But I remember tuning into their live stream about the red warning, and they were saying a thunderstorm might break out today, but it'll likely be a thundery shower. What do you mean? Have you seen the environment? Like, while this is quite a surprise to most, a few members of the community like me have been tracking this potential setup for days on end. And like being, would the cap break? But look at that, the cap is definitely broken. And we've just got a crazy thunderstorm ongoing. But the Met Office, I think they're clearly just prioritising the heat and just not caring about this crazy stuff. With pretty damaging hail, I'll say that. Like the precip core here, still seeing reflectivity values around over 120, 150 millimeters per hour, which is either extremely heavy rain or most likely just mental hail. Absolutely crazy. If we just have a look at the rates again. Wow, 379 strikes per minute is how much is coming off this thing. That is ridiculous. 379 strikes per minute. That is ridiculous. You don't get more frequent lightning than that. What the hell? Looks like I'm going to get cooked. I'm in between Swindon and Oxford then. Yeah, you might get hit by this storm. It's going to be quite the show by the looks of it. Wow. This is 382 strikes per minute is now being recorded on this storm complex. That is absolutely insane. There are no words to describe how crazy that is. That's insane. Just a shame that the southeast won't get any for a while. Yeah, you're You lot are too dependent on Kent Clippers. Let's be real. All the storms coming up from Kent. This is like a homegrown one. It's crazy. Maybe you will see a few Kent Clippers, some imports from France. Maybe we'll see later on. I'm gonna move the thunderstorm map over. Midsummer Norton now looks like is about to be right in the firing line. 386 strikes per minute now on this complex, which is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, so you can see the impact areas, and you can see that we've got, it looks like quite a sharp boundary here, so that may stop any rotation from occurring. So you can see this quite stark boundary here, and this might be outflow. This might mean that this storm is more outflow dominant, which would probably indicate that we've got some interesting, some quite high winds coming through. I know someone who's about to be hit by this, so hopefully they'll be able to describe the conditions well. Comes through, but it looks like the lightning is more concentrated in this area of the storm. We've got some lightning here. Oh wow, look at that. That is, now it's really starting to be concentrated. We're starting to see possibly a V-notch, maybe? So if a hook forms there, maybe, we could see some supercellular structure. But this seems like a possible supercell day contained within this MCS kind of feature that we're seeing right now. But you can see it's really becoming organised. We've got quite a nasty hail core. In fact, this is quite a nasty storm overall. It's pretty ridiculous. Absolutely insane what's going on. I'm going to check the strike rates again. That's not the strike rates. Oh my god. 499 lightning strikes per minute. There are no words to describe how frequent this... How is it detecting this much? That is insane. That is just insane, man. That is crazy. One in France was mental compared to this. Yeah, I heard about the storms in France. Like, they were just getting supercells casually. Like, genuine, incredible structure supercells out of nowhere. And then a few nights ago as well, I'm not sure if it was last night, I think it was the night before. Better not die before Bath. I don't think it'll die before Bath. You could just see on the lightning detector how it's struggling to keep up. Like, instead of one dot appearing at once, just multiple keep appearing at once. It will in my... Okay, James, you pessimist. Just because you're not getting any storms up in Scotland doesn't mean you have to take it out on anyone else. Yeah, but I mean, I would genuinely be surprised if it somehow died before Bath. This thing looks strong. Okay, the shear is remarkable on this storm complex as a whole. Still holding strong at 496 strikes per minute. It's ridiculous amounts of lightning, really. Looks like these webcams just don't want to work. So we'll go back to our main view where we're just tracking the radar. Look at that update. Look at that update. That's ridiculous. Seen bigger storms than this. Okay, James. No. I went to the USA and saw 500 supercells. Yeah. Well, we haven't, have we? It's like saying that 40 degrees isn't hot because I've experienced it in the USA. It looks like there's some strikes really popping off ahead of this, apparently. They may be contaminated, considering. I would hate to be a plane trying to land at I might check Flight Radar 24 to see what's going on. I do think Colchester area might get something. Is that where you are? So, Flight Radar 24. Flight Radar 24 says... Let's see what these planes are doing. Got quite a few planes at Bristol Airport at the moment. Doesn't look like any of them are being held yet. But yeah. This is just ridiculous, the amount of lightning coming from this. So still at 496 strikes per minute. Like, what the hell? Genuinely insane what is going on. Oh, they have warnings out. The Met Office have finally warned them. Jeez, took them long enough. Okay, Okay, let's get them up. Yellow thunderstorm. Yay, I'm in the yellow thunderstorm warning. Let's go. Why didn't the Met Office notify me of that? That's disgraceful. Oh, was that the notification there? Yeah, yellow warning of thunderstorms has been issued. I mean, it looks like it's frozen, but there's a yellow warning of thunderstorms open. They've definitely done like a nowcasting thing, bro. It's definitely nowcasting. Should be amber in my opinion. Yeah, no, I agree. The threats from this are something else. This is like a very intense thunderstorm. Oh, something's happening. There we are. A cluster of thunderstorms may bring some short-lived disruption this evening. So possibly some damage to a few buildings and structures from lightning or hail. There's a good chance of driving conditions being affected by spray, selling water and or hail. Some short-term loss of power. Oh, power cuts. Metsuit knows that. And flooding. So yeah, the potential for flash flooding is being discovered. This is ridiculous. We've got the full suite. Like I think that would have shown on the screen that we had a yellow warning issued. That's the ice cream. The ice cream van just came past, and it sounded like some kind of nuclear bomb. Okay, we're back to the radar. We can see we've still got a very intense system moving in. You can see it. There might be some like rotation on this. If you look at the overall structure of the precipitation overall, look at that. Maybe that could hook over, and maybe this is just a massive. This could end up being a massive supercell. But I think we're just being in fantasy world at this point, if I'm being honest. So these look like, this storm looks like it will move towards Swindon. It doesn't look like it's bowing at this point. But how many miles away are you from this storm's Jade? I'm still a decent bit away. However, I am in the yellow warning. I'm on like the right hand side of the yellow warning. No one expected it to be this bad. Imagine if the cap rode in another place. Rumble's getting so loud in Bath and it isn't even here. Yeah. I'm getting a report from Midsummer Norton that the rumbles are also quite loud and the sky is dark. But yeah, it's just it's just the magnitude of these strikes, the amount that's going on, is just incredible. It's at 500 per minute. Oh my god, it's hit the 500 mark. That is just insane, dude. What on earth? We've got a long-tracked thunderstorm now, a long-tracked thunderstorm complex that is now moving in the direction. I'm going to make another polygon again. If you're in this area, expect an imminent thunderstorm threat with potential flash flooding. They may be large hail and hope you get a good storm, mate. I hope so too. I need a good storm. Yes, I saw some good nighttime storms from afar on Wednesday, on that Wednesday night. And wow, look at that precip core as well. That is ridiculous. There is some serious hail coming down at this point with this 500 strikes per minute storm. That is just ridiculous. At the moment, power outage disruption looks low. We're just under 2,000, just under 3,000 homes out. But we've got quite a well-maintained thunderstorm with currently 500 strikes per minute at this point. And I'm just going to draw a polygon like I said I would. So we have a chance here of this storm progressing like this, I'd say. So this polygon here, you can't see the full extent of it because of our lightning detector. Off to enjoy the storm. Take care, mate. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you have a lot of fun. Good luck, mate. Good luck. Alright. So, this is insane. Look at that. Look at how much 502 now. I've just thought of a genius plan. What if we zoom out a bit? There we go, that's good. You can just see that. That is incredible how intense this storm is getting. Question, how do we know once it turns into a supercell? Now, we won't be able to know for sure unless we get observations of the features of a supercell being there. At this point, it doesn't look like a supercell. It looks more like a Boeing segment storm, where we're going to have likely more damaging winds and hail. We'll be able to see on radar suggestions that it could be a supercell. So we'll have this structure, I'll show you here, where we're going to have... Oh, we're still in line mode, that's disgraceful. Where we could have this kind of thing here, and then you see quite a deliberate hook on radar. So something like that, and then sometimes we see a V-notch in the precipitation, and then... sorry, this is a V-notch in the precipitation, which also indicates supercellular activity. However, that doesn't mean we can be sure unless we have video evidence or velocity radar, which only the Met Office can access. So we can't really assume that everything is. However, I'm very confident at this point that this is more of an outflow dominant, more of a Boeing segment MCS storm. That is self-sustaining itself very well at this point. Slowly getting cloudy. Metsu. It's barely cloudy for me. I've got some upper level cloud coming out right now. I wonder if I could see the thunderstorm from afar. Yeah, these storms are going to be... Oh, yeah, no, I can actually see that entire complex. I can see the darkening clouds in the distance. That is crazy how far it's reached. Wow, this is absolutely incredible. Lightning activity is back down to 383 per minute, but that doesn't mean it's dying. It just means it's probably using up some of the energy in the atmosphere and it's now sustaining itself. In fact, the precipitation core, as we saw earlier, it's a very deep precip core. We've got very high, even maxed out reflectivity values on the net weather radar, which is pretty extraordinary to see on its own. Will it affect London significantly? Well, I mean, there is a chance that it could track through northern London, and it could cause a bit of disruption, but it just depends on how much it maintains itself. The models show it upscaling, downscaling throughout its life, with certain areas with higher lightning output. So if you are just joining us, we're tracking a pretty significant and severe MCS that was earlier producing about 500 strikes per minute. Now it's still producing a sizable amount of lightning strikes at 384. We're seeing an extraordinarily high amount of lightning activity with this storm, and it's going to continue tracking along the M4 corridors. We're going to see it head towards Swindon, Westbury, Midsummer Norton, Trowbridge, Chippenham as well, and it's going to head through Swindon, possibly to Oxford, Wallingford, Abingdon, and then past the M40 area as well, as it keeps tracking north east, or east northeast pretty much. So it could clip London as it continues going on, like the northern parts of London. However, that is uncertain at this point. It all depends on how well it maintains itself. But you can just see within this thing how intense the precipitation core on this is. Met Office suggesting you could get some thunderstorms at 9 PM, so it is maintaining it for you, interestingly. I've got thunderstorms by the Met Office at 8 PM according to the latest app, which is brilliant news. I'll be able to experience it too. But in South London, I have a feeling you won't get any of this. You might be able to see the cloud from a distance. Maybe as we go into the evening, you might be able to see some lightning in the distance. But I don't think this will hit you directly at this point, no. Of course, things could change because we've had quite a bit of uncertainty. But from the UKV that has nailed this completely so far, it is very intense. Yeah, you're right. Kavinska. It is a very intense storm that's coming through. I think it's still probably going to be maintaining. It might have decreased the rate just because I zoomed out, because it's still at 382 strikes per minute. There are some anomaly strikes coming in Southampton, but they are just anomaly strikes. You can see the core of it, and you can just tell from that where they are. And yeah, it's quite an intense storm. It is a very intense storm at this point. So we're going to continue tracking it as we head through. It's odd because hot spells typically end with thundery breakdowns, but we're starting off with a significant thunderstorm and then getting the ridiculous heat after. So we're at 383 strikes per minute on this storm, which is just absolutely ridiculous. We're tracking towards Bath, Bristol. Bristol's likely to get a hit from this shortly. Swindon as well, Oxford, Abingdon, Didcot, Wallingford, Wantage. All of those areas in the and it's going to cross the M4 by the looks of it as well, is going to get hit by this storm. Our webcams appear to be down at this point. I'm not sure if that is directly because of the storm or not. That is annoying, but we can still observe from radar where it's going to hit, how it's going to hit, all of that malarkey. But yeah, in this latest radar scan compared to last, we've maintained a very deep precip core, over 250 millimeters per hour. Now that is practically impossible on normal rain standards. So what that indicates is that we've got large hail falling at this time, and you can just see it is ridiculous. It's really getting into that severe window now. Lightning near Basingstoke on the map. If Basingstoke is too far away at that point, that's an anomaly strike. You typically seem to get these with lightning maps, where it typically shows just random anomaly strikes for no reason when there are other intense thunderstorms ongoing nearby, which is why we're getting strikes in Southampton for no reason, even though there is definitely no thunderstorm ongoing there. But you can see this thing is really organising. It's tapping into that wind shear, which is allowing it to organise. It's tapping into the cape that's available. We've got a load of cape available at this point. And it's tapping into the... And then it's using all of those ingredients, it's just organising, and then it's going. It's getting dark outside for me now, even though the storm is still a few hours away. It's kind of ridiculous how this storm system is setting up. It looks like some severe hail is certainly on the way. On damaging wind gusts, I'm not completely sure. We'll have to see. It looks like this could be a wind gust producer, as it is going straight line. It's an MCS pretty much. Supercells at this point. Okay, so I'll explain CAPE, yeah, don't worry, I'll do that. So CAPE is basically convective available potential energy. It's the amount of energy that thunderstorms can tap into, and it's a good measure of how intense thunderstorms can be if they initiate. So it's called convective available potential energy. It's called that because it's the amount of energy that could potentially be available if a thunderstorm was able to initiate, basically. Now, the levels today in this specific area are insanely high, pretty much. And that's why we're seeing this severe thunderstorm at this point. We're seeing such intense lightning because they're so high. For a basic guide, I'd say 100 to 500, you could expect an isolated lightning strike. 500 to 1,000. A more decent thunderstorm. 1,000 to 2,000, you've got a decent thunderstorm. 2,000 plus, you've got an intense thunderstorm. To severe, pretty much. So that's basically how CAPE works. And we're in the 2,000 plus range today, which explains why we've got this severe thunderstorm ongoing. It's a massive segment. You can see it isn't really a supercell. It looks like that supercell threat has not occurred, because instead we're getting a more organised MCS, basically, a mesoscale convective system, which just allows it to carry on for quite a long while of time. Why is the ice cream van... Is this thing literally going to pass? They're playing Football's Coming Home on an ice cream van. What has this world come? Mate, that is disgraceful. What lightning strike tracking tool do you recommend? So, I mean, lightning maps is pretty good. However, it can show a lot of anomalous strikes. So, there is one I do recommend. It's called Blitz or Tongue. I can't remember how to spell it. So, Blitz, Zor, Tongue. So, BLITZ. So, Blitz, and then Zor, so that's ZOR, and then Tongue, for tongue to her. That kind of tongue. And then if you put that in, and then you click on blitzorgtongue.org, you'll get something like this. And then what you want to do is you want to go into real-time maps and click on vector map, and then you'll get something similar. And this one does a lot less strikes that are just completely anomalous. However, I'm using lightning maps because it shows better graphics. So I just want to remind you, we have a yellow weather warning out for this storm complex. Cappy XCI says, just drove due southwest from Oxford towards Swindon. Sky getting incredibly dark and huge band visible in the distance. Could get very interesting. Yeah, certainly. Metsu, I'm very glad that I've turned lightning off. There's a reason I've done it. And we can see that from the ridiculous lightning values that are being shown here. Now, has lightning activity gone down on this storm? No, it's still at 378 strikes per minute. It's still consistently producing ridiculous lightning numbers. But yeah, it could get very interesting for you, Cappy XCI. I think you're definitely going to get something later on. This thing is going crazy. Like, these reflectivity scans off the charts. I think we're getting contamination because of how much, because of how severe the hail is. It's absolutely ridiculous what we're seeing. It's a shame here because we can see on that camera we might be getting something interesting. I might try and reload it and see what happens. See if that could give us... You know, it looks like the cameras just don't want to work today. But look at how big this precipitation core has gotten. It is ridiculous. So yeah, I'll just update you. I'll show you that yellow warning that the Met Office issued. So they've done it preemptively responding. I might see a Twitter later tonight. Perhaps F3 best hunker down for the evening. At this rate, you might see an F3 from these thunderstorms. I'm joking, obviously. These thunderstorms have an isolated tornado threat. They could start rotating, but this looks... Oh my god, that has expanded, hasn't it? Look, it's starting to either expand or... I'm not sure what it's doing. Is it ripping itself apart? That is odd. It's starting to expand. That's definitely something. It's trying to move over. Could it possibly be gusting itself out? That is odd. Or maybe that is just extreme contamination. I'm due to get rain soon in Lichfield, Staffordshire, and I heard a rumble in the distance just now. Maybe wishful thinking. Well, I mean, let's have a look at where Lichfield is. And we'll see if that storm is in your direction. Well, I mean, we may have some showers developing here, but I mean, they don't seem to be able to tap into the energy that's available, sadly. So I don't think you're going to get much. But I mean, we can think maybe one of these showers could intensify. Of course, the star of the show is this insane megaplex of a storm here, but yeah, I don't know. This thunderstorm will now be impacting areas such as Bath and Keynsham shortly. Midsummer Norton about to be in the thick of it as well. And everybody will know. Trowbridge, Bradford on Avon, and Westbury also looking to be next. Melksham, Chippenham also looks to be in the path of it. Melksham, of course, got damaged by damaging hail only a few weeks ago from that breakdown of the May heat wave. So that is certainly something to keep an eye on as we continue going through. You can see there 717 strikes in that square alone. And I might update in a bit. I'm going to try and see if this camera can show us something. You can see there's definitely a load of precipitation here. The wind's definitely increasing here. Maybe we could see a cheeky lightning strike? I don't know, man. Doesn't look like it wants to do it. We'll head back to the main view for now. Keep a spy on it. Keep an eye on it. Wow! Look at that update. That is crazy. You can see lightning activity becoming way more widespread. Okay, 1 second. So it looks like the hail at the moment isn't really a main threat, but there's some crazy wind associated with this, isn't there?
I know, and I think my flipping umbrella's going to break, but anyway, if it does, there's nothing I can do about it. Just going to have to stay up there. I can't get out there to get it, so. I took the seat pads off and thought, oh, I'll leave the umbrella because it's wet. And I realised it was going to be this fast, but anyway, I can't do anything about it now, so. I get soaked if I went up there, so.
Yeah. So, oh wow, that's a deep reflectivity scan. Wow.
Oh.
Also, you're live on the live stream. We've got 23 people watching. So,
Oh, crikey. Woo. How long do you think it's going to last?
so this storm here. So I think you might get some damaging hail later on. Like I think Wells should be experiencing some damaging hail around now.
Oh, well, I just want to know when it's going to stop so I can rescue my umbrella.
I think that's going to take quite a bit. You might be in it for an hour.
Oh, crikey. Oh, well, I'll send her out then. I expect the umbrella will go on to get a new one.
I'm going to answer all of the chat's questions. So we've got, will Berkshire be safe? Thank you for checking in. Thank you for checking in.
That's alright. Love you. Goodbye.
Save the day by checking in on that storm live. We've got live on the scene coverage. So it looks like flash flooding is going to be a big issue with this. There's some ridiculously heavy rain being reported along with damaging winds. Berkshire, I was just asked about that. I have a feeling Berkshire could get hit by one of these storms. However, you're likely going to be on the southern edge of them. So you could be around here at this point. Sheffield's does not look good for thunderstorms. Yeah, not today at all, sadly. It looks like this is certainly a victory for the south today. This storm is certainly a victory for the ages. Yeah, definitely. Like, the precipitation cause here, the hail cause most likely on this storm, are either going to cause significant flash flooding, or that's just ridiculous hail. And it looks like a kind of bowing segment in effect. You can see it's got this kind of twisting thing. The UKV was modelling this kind of twisting feature earlier, where you can see it just goes like that. And I was trying to make sense of it, because that isn't how a supercell looks, so it can't be really rotation. Never seen a storm like this on UK radar before ever. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy stuff what we're seeing right now at this point. If any of you want to put your locations in, and I'll try and see if they're going to be impacted in the next few hours by this storm. It looks like it's going to be quite a long track storm. I don't think at this point it's supercellular at all, but you can see it's just absolutely going for it. Some ridiculous lightning strikes coming from this. Look at that thing. That is just insane. Is there no live cams where the storm is? I haven't been able to find any though. Aylesbury could definitely be in the path of this later, in a more around 8 o'clock ish. If this storm continues to maintain, it may start weakening by that point, but it could certainly be in the path later on. I haven't been able to find any cameras, but if any cameras can be found, then I will be able to put them on stream, hopefully. I'm going to do a little browse for cameras now. Any chance of that activity in North Wales later today, I wonder? Well, I think there is a chance that some showers do get going in North Wales, and they could be thundery. They won't be as intense as these storms here, but... Oh, I gained 21 subscribers. That's crazy. Thank you, James, for letting me know. But yeah, you can see here, we've got this very intense precip core. There's definitely none on YouTube, I've checked. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get someone else on that. Since I won't be able to do it myself. Got so many blimming screens to look at. And look at this structure. This is ridiculous. Yeah, the UKV model, like the Arome has no idea what it's doing, but the UKV is just completely forecasted this perfectly. But I just want to have a look at this. Oh, it looks like we have a severe storm chase live, maybe. Hold on, wait. Hopefully... Hopefully I can maybe get the UK Storm Chaser's permission to show his stream live on mine. So I'll get that working in a second. But you can see that massive hail core. I have a feeling we've got some contamination going on around here. But you can just see the precipitation. Apparently NetWeather's just completely crashed for Metsuit. So that's funny. Okay. But yeah, this is a ridiculous thunderstorm. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the target areas yet again, because we've got quite a few. So we've got Swindon over here. Swindon has some pretty exceptional lightning strike counts. No, well, I mean, it will soon. It's going to be impacted by this storm very shortly. And you can see on the lightning map how this thing just keeps on going. It just keeps on... It's ridiculous, really, the amount of lightning that's coming out of this. The thunder is constant. I wonder if there's a shelf on this thing as well. And it's just bowing out. I can live stream this from Chippenham. If you could, that would be amazing. Luke OJ 2002. I'll get it on stream. I'll have a look. Okay, I'm just going to try and ask for permission first. Okay, so I'll try and get your stream up, Luke. I need to see this storm. Yes, I need to see this storm as well. It's getting really dark outside. I wonder if I might be able to see a shelf in a second. This whole thing has darkened the skies like in about 50, 100 miles ahead of it. Wow, that thing, it's so humid and hot, and then there's just massive dark clouds. That is ridiculous. Wow. Yeah, so I'm tempted to drive down myself. Looks like a big windbag event at the moment. Anything supercellular? Yeah, you can see a shelf. You can see a shelf. Block it, James, is my Discord, Luke OJ. Yeah, you can just add me. You can just DM me straight away. I think just add me and DM me. Looks like a big windbag event at the moment. Anything supercellular. So basically, right now it's looking pretty. It's looking pretty much like some sort of Boeing segment. We're not really seeing much supercellular features. No, nothing on radar that would indicate that's the case. I think this is more of a damaging wind event at the moment. It's a very intense storm. It looks like lightning activity might be downtrending, or maybe that's just because we're zoomed in. That might be because we're zoomed in. Let's have a look. We're still at 241 strikes per minute. This storm looks like it's impacting Bristol now. Pretty ridiculous lightning rates coming through with this. You think there's a chance to shift? So, wait, so you saw a shelf miss the Seek? Did you say? Because that is remarkable if so. And is that a new radar scan that's just come in? No, it isn't. Okay. This is huge. Okay, Luke, if you can... Are you live streaming on that YouTube channel? Because if so... I did, but I went aside because it started hailing. How big is the hail at this point? Heavy rain just started Bristol. Yeah, I'd expect that. And we've still got a ridiculous hail core on this cell as well. It's starting to become less of a fully windbag storm type, and it's becoming more of a it's becoming a bit more like a massive blob that maybe it could form a hook later, maybe it could show a supercellular nature, but this storm is massive. Kind of big. So we've got reports of massive hail, basically. Wow! We just had a massive jump in power outages as well. 6,405 homes without power is now being reported. Luco J, please message Block It James on Discord. There's my username. Just DM that with a stream link. This is a ridiculously big storm. The power outages have gone through the roof. This is definitely a severe storm, a massive severe storm. I'm looking in the distance, and it's really getting dark. You can tell. This thing. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. This is genuinely insane stuff, really. I'll zoom out back again. Lightning rate's still holding strong at 230 at this point. There you go. So now you can see a bit more of a lead time if I just move it across slightly. So you can see where this storm is heading to. Bristol is everyone in Bristol is dead pretty much. But you can see we've got over 6,000 homes without power. You've added me, okay. You can see a shelf. You can see a shelf. Okay. You can see a shelf. Okay. About 20 miles east of Swindon. This is genuinely one of the biggest mainland storms I've ever seen. Okay, I've accepted your friend request. I've accepted both of your friend requests. We've got. This is just incredible. This thunderstorm. This looks like a genuinely. Looks like a genuinely beefy thunderstorm. Wow. This is the first shelf storm that I've seen in the UK. We've got a video of this. Okay, we're about to show that on Steam on stream. 1 second. I'll get it up on Discord. Wow, that is a massive shelf. That is absolutely ridiculous. Wow. Wondrous Sky saying this looks like a storm right out of the USA. And I'm not surprised really. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous how big it is. Discord is failing to load that well. Never mind. Hopefully I can just open the... Oh. But yeah, Luco J has a video and a photo which we're going to show on stream. No, actually 2 videos. Can we just show it here? We've got a big shelf cloud on this storm. Look at that, look at that. So that is a massive shelf cloud here, but this is the worst video. We're going to get the better video up. And is that green? Is that a green tone? Wow, look at that. That is ridiculous. We've got that. That is insane. We've got a massive shelf cloud. Wow. And is that a green precip called Luco J? I believe Wanderer sent me something. No, I haven't been sent anything, but if you could send a photo, Wanderer, that would be wonderful. Ongoing pink lightning. I've never heard thunder like this. No, this is a storm for the ages. This will be remembered for a long time in this southern area. Wanderer Skylight 25. Please send a photo. This is incredible. We'll get back to the radar quickly. Look at that. That is a ridiculous storm. It's green. It's a literal green precip core. This is... Wow. I'm American and he's never... Oh, he doesn't have one. Okay. Oh, you're nowhere near it. Oh, okay, sorry. Oh, we've got a new video coming in. Look at that. That is a mothership thunderstorm. I think the iPhone is overdoing the light dramatically. We could see earlier there was a green precip core. It isn't really showing well, but I think that's just the phone probably. Or the device is being sent on. Found live webcam. Sideways rain. Wow. Yeah, I think the wind threat from this is significant. It's very significant. You might be hearing the hail roar, Luke OJ, if I'm being honest. From the hail that this looks to be producing, this looks like a potentially massive damaging hail event. I'm going to look out my window again. It's just hazy in the distance, but you can see it feels so humid, and you can just see out there so much darkness. Incredible thunderstorm ongoing. I'll show those videos again. Yeah, the wind is so strong. I can hear it like 1 mile away. Yeah, this is going to be a damaging wind event. That's certainly a green hail core. I've got a new video in from Luke OJ. It's coming down now for him. Look at that wind. The wind is increasing. This is a massive storm, wow. The intensity on this thing is just ridiculous. So it looks like the precip core is now unstrengthening by the looks of it, which may lead to less lightning, but we're still seeing some quite significant outflow. You can see it's trying to bow out a bit, and we've still got some heavy precip cores in the middle of it. Okay, I will. We've got some damaging wind reports. Got a lot of damaging wind reports. We've got a new video from Luke OJ, who is in this storm experiencing it. There was a flash there as well. Looks like he hasn't got the main effects yet. Lightning activity might be uptrending again. No, it's actually downtrended quite a bit. So it seems like the storm might be weakening at this point, but it might re-intensify later on. If it can find some new convective energy to tap into, like that reflectivity scan, maybe that's uptrended a bit. No, you see, yeah, it's shrinking in itself. So it looks like it might be struggling. But it may be able to re-maintain itself. Looks like torrential rain currently ongoing in that storm from Luke OJ. It's a very, very nasty ongoing storm. So it's shrinking at the moment, but I have a feeling it will be able to reorganise itself. At the moment, I have a feeling it will. From what I'm seeing, it looks like quite a significant damaging wind event is ongoing. We've got 6,686 homes now without power. That's a pretty high level for the, yeah, the rain is coming down fast where I live. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Looks like we may have some hail cores in there as well. It doesn't look like it's organising into something supercellular, but, I mean, it could. Torrential rain coming down from Lukoje. It's coming down heavily. Is lightning activity still struggling in this? Actually isn't doing too bad. He's still at 159 strikes per minute. Love how we're calling that bad now. It's just come to that point where the strikes are so widespread that we're calling that bad. Okay, so this long track storm could continue on. Oh wow, okay, hold on, wait, we may have a potential... Is that a hook echo trying to form? We could have an embedded supercell here, I'm not going to lie. Look at that. I'll change this to pink so you can easily see it. We've got a quite defined hook here. And we've got an inflow notch here as well. Now, I don't really have a V notch, which could really help us understand, but maybe this might be a supercell. It looks like a high precipitation supercell if it is one. But that would make sense in terms of where the hail core is, because that's right where the rear flank downdraft would be. Looks like a potentially damaging supercell. This thing has the chance to become supercellular, if I'm being honest. It really does. Winds are picking up again according to Lukoje. The storm may be reorganising at this point. You can see that lightning activity has got a lot more concentrated into an area. And it may be trying to wrap up into something supercellular. So we're really going to have to watch that. And people may have to be on alert for a potential tornado if this does happen. Because this storm looked pretty surface-based from what we were seeing from Lukoje's perspective, really. I see a supercell. Mr. Zeke, if you can send photos of that, please do. Because I can try and identify the features if it is one. Oh, we've got 156 strikes per minute in this. It may be reorganising into a more defined storm. Said this now, it may be trying to wrap around again. You've got that hook echo shape. You haven't really got that outflow though. No, that kind of not forward flank downdraft. You should be seeing some more stuff here, and you can see that's more defined with a boundary. So maybe an embedded supercell. You're banned from Discord. Okay. But this certainly looks like something to keep a watch on. These are some dangerous storms. When was the last time a supercell in the UK has occurred? That was actually back in May. We saw one just seen a huge CG. Massive CG. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that might be lightning activity trying to uptick again. We've got a severe thunderstorm ongoing, there's no doubt about it, really. It's a pretty dangerous storm ongoing. James Liz on Weather Fans is live streaming. Am I allowed to use their stream? Not sure if I have permission to do that, but I don't know. If you could ask her, potential tornado trying to form is what Mr. Seeker's saying. It would be good if we could have like some visual evidence of that, because I'm not sure. Yeah, if you could ask James, that would be lovely. You can see you've got those features, don't you? You've just got quite an abrupt end to it. You've definitely got an inflow notch. But it looks more... It looks more... I'm not sure how to say it, because that's an outflow. That's definitely some outflow going there. But, yeah. Certainly something to watch very, very closely. So we may have a chaser streaming this shortly. And watching the precip intense over the past 20-ish minutes on rail was quite crazy. Yeah, I have a feeling we were seeing some very intense hail production at that point. If we just go back earlier to this, look at that. A very, very heavy precip core. So today's environment is somewhat favourable for possible supercellular action. However, at this point, you can see maybe something happening. Like that hook there looks somewhat definitive. However, I feel like I'm very skeptical on that. I feel like we might just be throwing out the supercell word for fun at this point. So I mean, we've got some radar features that could suggest it is, but I just don't think. I don't think it's sustaining itself well enough for it to be one. This MCS is doing something, but it's starting to really struggle now within its environment. It's now at 147 trunks a minute, so lightning activity has died down. However, it looks like I'm still in the target spot for it. This square here has had over 1,000 strikes alone. So, my question is, will it re-intensify? If it can find enough moisture, and it can find that convective available potential energy, that CAPE, that storm energy, maybe it could re-energize again. It's struggling in this environment right now, that's a given. While we're seeing basically constant lightning on this storm, it really is starting to struggle. However, it could definitely try and get back going again. Bristol rain nearly stops here. Yeah, it looks like Bristol has missed out really on the thunder reaction. All of that thunder reaction has been happening to the north. North of that. Yeah, you can see this storm is still very active. It looks like a long track MCS at least, maybe supercellular, but we don't really know. We really don't really know at this point. Like, you can see a potential hook on echo, hook on radar, a potential inflow notch, but there's no V notch. I think it's mainly just a messy MCS at the moment, trying to reform back into a more established storm. It's certainly struggling at this point. Only 145 strikes per minute. Yes, only 145 strikes per minute. Can you believe it? This is oblivious. I mean, Liz is on her phone, so she can't read comments as of yet, but doesn't look like she's not near a storm as of yet. Okay, that's fine. Keep me updated, James. What on earth is this storm doing? So it's definitely weakening now. Is it going to try and hand off? Hand off to something else? Because the lightning activity is still staying somewhat consistent. Let's have a look at those loops. It might be handing off to a new core here. Because the lightning activity is more focused there. So it may be trying to do that. Is it heading towards Cheltenham? I think it might be. Well, I'll just check where Cheltenham is again. Completely forgotten. So, I think Cheltenham... I think Cheltenham is sadly probably going to miss out. You're probably a bit too north at this point. There's a lot of wind coming. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Quite severe wind ongoing with this. It's getting so dark outside. Like, this storm is really darkening the skies, really. It's kind of crazy. So, the Cheltenham-Gloucester area, I sadly don't think will get any storms. So, I'll just show you the radar. So, you can see here, there's the Cheltenham-Gloucester area. And the main storm is here. It looks like it may be trying to hand off. And I've come to the conclusion that this probably isn't a supercell at the moment. Yeah, I think it's handing off to this new area here. So if we just have a look at here again, so you see this core here. This was the previous one. Maybe it's handing off to this new core here because that's starting to re-intensify. Meanwhile, the old one isn't, and maybe that process is ticking down lightning activity. Now, the most intense lightning is occurring where the most intense hail or precip core is, and the lightning, it doesn't really care about the environment that it's in. It just decides to do what it wants. So, I mean, that might be why it's doing such mischievous activities. Basingstoke. I think Basingstoke... Let's have a look at the tracks here. I think Basingstoke will sadly miss out, but they might be able to see. You might be able to see some flashes in the distance, when it gets dark, of course. We'll really have to. It's really a now casting thing, but I think it's going to miss you sadly based on the direction it's heading. However, it could make a turn east. That's what some of the models were suggesting. That it could do one of these later on into the day, but We'll have to see, really. Apparently some loud wind is being reported. So you can see our lightning activity is definitely downtrended. It's now at 143 strokes per minute. It's slowly going down. However, it still seems to be maintaining. It's getting so dark outside. Wow. People were not joking when they were talking about how dark this is. Absolutely crazy stuff coming out of this storm right now. We've got a massive... How long do you reckon it will hold above Chippenham? I'd say... Let's have a look at where it is. A tree just fell down outside your house. Wow. Definitely some big damaging winds occurring. It's an ongoing war at the moment. Wait, so is that where you are, Chippenham? I mean, Chippenham's going to still be in there for quite a bit, actually. I'd say another hour at this point, personally. Is lightning activity really downtrending? Yes, it is. It really is. This thunderstorm sadly might be dying off, but it might re-electrocate later. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, we're back. And we're still at quite a dire picture in terms of lightning activity. If you want lightning, it's certainly ticking down in terms of the amount of lightning activity at the moment. It's gone to a more narrow corridor and we're seeing less of it in general at this stage, so it might be dying off. And it's really in quite an unorganised stage. Now, the UKV did show it like lightening off and then re-intensifying as it went northeast again. But we'll have to see if the UKV... The UKV's been pretty bang on so far, but that's how Starmer is repaying us. You made me resign. So you know what? Take this. Take this. Unleashes the entirety of Zeus on us. Yeah, this storm is certainly struggling, really. However, maybe it could re-intensify into a more of a Boeing segment. I'm not sure. It's certainly handing off in some way. Looks like it's shifting slightly east. Yeah, we'll have a look at that. You're right. It seems to be doing more of this. And we can see how that precip core is moving, and is that aligned with our lightning activity, which is still decreasing, by the way. Bristol calm and slightly cooler. Yeah, Bristol just completely missed out. But I mean, I guess that's a good thing if you just wanted a cool down. It was nice. It was a nice rain shower and it was like a tropical shower, really. Apparently, this lightning activity is getting close to me, so I'm really gonna have to start getting a look out the window. Not genuinely hearing thunder in the distance. That just shows it, doesn't it? How far this thing is going. So look at that. Yeah, that pattern there is very interesting. I think any supercell accusations are pretty much dead now, and that's pretty justified in my opinion. I think it is just an intense MCS at this point, which is struggling. We're seeing more lightning activity actually in that more southern system. This system here near Oxford. I think I'm going to get the camera up soon, try and get a look. So smaller cells popping up just east and southeast too, wherever those will turn up. Yeah, there are some like small cells just developing ahead of this for no reason whatsoever. Certainly interesting, certainly interesting. Wow, this lightning activity is dying. It's now at 128 per minute. Looks like this storm might not make it to Oxford. I'm going to keep live streaming in case some storms are still able to fire up. Oh, there we go. There's our missing lightning activity, hopefully. Hopefully it'll restore. It's grey as hell. There are some lovely sculpted clouds out here. I'm going to set the camera out to get some photos later. See, we've got some contamination there. What trend has this showed us? Hasn't it showed a strengthening trend? Well, it's definitely a handing off trend to this part here. We still have power, so I think the worst is gone. Yeah, power outages are still at 5,000 homes, so I don't think this is being too damaging at the moment. You can see now lightning activity is starting to increase on these more eastern cells, which is interesting. More northern cells, sorry. We've still got lightning activity within this, however it's struggling. It certainly is struggling. We're seeing a downward trend, definitely. However, if it can maintain itself, if it can... You reckon this will have an impact on how warm it will be over the next couple of days? My weather app's already showing a cooling of the air temps. Well, I mean, the UKV predicted this pretty well, and it's still going for 40 degrees on flipping Thursday. It went for 42 degrees, which was a bit insane from the UKV. But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it was being a bit biased there, but It's 38 earlier, but now showing 34. Interesting. Have a look at the UKV in a second. See what the max temps it's going for are. UKV is going 35 on Tuesday. With an isolated 36, okay. And we haven't got that far yet. So we're waiting for the UKV to run out at the moment. I'm interested to see what it does for the temperatures, temperature-wise, while we're seeing a downscale in storm activity. However, no, that's not an uptick at all. Sadly, in lightning activity, that is not an uptick. You have a feeling the UK is going to have more thunderstorms tomorrow? I don't think so. I think it's just going to be swelteringly hot. Nothing is initiating. However, there is a small risk in the far southeast of some thunderstorms popping up. There is a small risk there. This thing is massive. That thing is huge. Yeah, you can see it's starting to really unintensify on precipitation now. It's still showing some very decent lightning levels, still showing like over 100 strikes per minute. Which, you know, as you do. Good old. Yeah, now the thunderstorm will be at Swindon. Yeah. And then in the impact line for this, we've now got Swindon, Oxford, Abingdon, Wallingford, Carterton, Farringdon as well. These storms. What's happened to your weather app, Mr. Zeke? Which one are you even using? It's clearly got some issues, quite clearly. At 2 AM on Wednesday, the UKV is showing 27 as a minimum. Oh, you mean like the iPhone one? What an awful application. What an absolutely awful application. What nonsense. Interesting seeing storm activity more southern wise. That is interesting. Certainly a lot less lightning activity, but there certainly is still some. We're still seeing over 100 strikes per minute. Right, continuing to look at the UKV. Showing a minimum of 25 degrees for London. Cloud tops reached at least 41,000 feet. That is ridiculous. I'm going to set up my camera real quick, so I'll be back. Keep an eye on the lightning activity and the radar. I'll be back in just a second though. Okay, I'm back. I apologise for the wait. It's just started to rain for me, which is exciting. Certainly weakening on radar. Certainly weakening on radar. But maybe it will re-intensify. You never know these kind of things. Like, it's definitely a less active storm at the moment in terms of thunder activity, but maybe this storm is just going to become a showery slop by the time it arrives. Pretty sure I can hear thunder from afar. Sadly, I haven't got a shelf right now to look at. Okay, well, maybe lightning activity is trending back up. So, I mean, one of my mates captured this on a car. Okay, let's have a check. Let's have a look at what Luke is doing. Wow. Yo. Look at that. That's pink. That is pink. Wow. That is just remarkable. Lightning activity seems to want to uptrend at this point. Just let. The shelf takes about 20 minutes from the first point of rain. Said here, huge CG. So UKV goes for more. I got a severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, that was issued ages ago. And that's Tuesday. Is that Tuesday where it goes for 30? I don't think it is actually. So lightning activity is still pretty constant at this point. I'll just get the radar back up so you lot can see it. You can see how this thing isn't really as organised as it was previously. It isn't really producing the lightning output that it was before. However, it still appears to be quite a significant thunderstorm ongoing at this time. And you can see there it's got a bit of a shelf signature, so that's something to definitely watch for. At 09Z on Thursday, the UKV goes 32 degrees. Which is pretty crazy. Yeah, you can see lightning activity is really starting to die off here. So I think this thunderstorm will go into a less active mode. It definitely isn't as severe as it was. It's still producing 108 strikes per minute according to lightning maps. But we're going to see how this continues as we carry on. It definitely isn't as severe as it was before. You can see the lightning strikes are definitely still there. Wow. That is a hot run still. Still showing 40 degrees on some runs there for Thursday. That's what it's showing on the UKV. Very interested in these crazy temperatures as well. Anyway. This storm looks like it's going to pass in a bit. Starting to see somewhat of a shelf, maybe. I think I may leave and go and observe for a bit, if I'm being honest, as this does occur. I mean, yeah, it's starting to struggle, this storm. Still got some nice strikes on it, but nothing in comparison to what it was before. So yeah, that looks like it's going to impact Oxford, Abingdon, Mayclip, Wallingford in the next few moments. Is it ever going to hit around Kent? I don't think so, if I'm being honest. Unless it manages to preserve itself well enough, it is likely to curve back. Well, I mean, it is possible that it'll curve back southwards, but at this point, the thunderstorm looks pretty weak. We're getting under 30 strikes per minute at this point. So I think I'm going to leave this on for now while I experience the storm for myself, because it is getting pretty much there. However, I will still be looking at the chat from afar and seeing if I need to change anything or maintain something. I'll probably lose a bunch of viewers anyway, but that's fine. Okay. So I think this stream might actually still be up. Yeah. Okay, I'm about. Okay. Okay, right, one concurrent viewer, that makes sense. Okay, so we're back. Whoever this one concurrent viewer is, thank you for staying. We still have. I've been observing this storm for the past, and there's been some wonderful sheet lightning, wonderful stuff, really. I'll just reload this page here, but it's been quite spectacular, if I'm being honest. Got this nice little structure, and while lightning is low, it's still a lovely show, if I'm being honest. I'm going to keep watching. Hello, Wanderer Skylight 2025. Yeah, I've seen some amazing sheets of pink lightning bolt. It's been quite incredible, really, and there's still flashes outside. I think I should still be able to talk while taking video. Because, I mean, this stuff is just incredible. I can't tell you how incredible these storms are. And look at how vast this whole system has become. This has been way underestimated. It's just incredible. An incredible little storm. Now it has a small precip core, which is where the main lightning activity is focused. It's just incredible, really. My reactions were not they were not at all media core at all. I've been sent some Discord messages, so I may have to look at them. Apparently there's been another fire associated with a lightning strike, a house fire in Bristol, apparently. Anyway, yeah, so you can see there is still some decent activity on this. It looks like it could still be long track, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Still going pretty insane out there. I'm going to need to unplug my computer to make sure my phone doesn't run out of battery. My camera ran out of battery, and then I was near Trippenham. A pylon got struck like 5 meters from me. Wow, that's incredible. This storm has been this has been an incredible storm, really, for the southwest. It's paying back a lot of debt that we've had to deal with. I'll leave that charging there for a bit, and I'm just going to watch outside, really, because I might as well enjoy it. I've got so much good footage from this. I'm not sure if my, it might be corrupted, my footage, maybe. But I missed the core, and I've just got light. We're just going to get light rain with the lightning strikes. It's like a dryish thunderstorm. I don't really know, man. I mean, that's pretty incredible. Milton Keynes looks like it's going to be hit by the core of that soon. We didn't have the golf ball size hail we had like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, no, that was incredible stuff. I was watching that storm from afar. The lightning was so frequent. That was incredible. In the night, I was near Radstock, I believe. I was watching it from afar. Lightning kept happening, and it could have been supercellular, but like the radar presentation had it looking that way, and from what I saw, it looked like it had some of the features. However, there is a chance it could have been some sort of upscaling. There was a report that Dan Holly did. Yeah, no, that's incredible. I'd love to live in Chippenham. Well, I mean, I technically got both of those storms, if you think about it. I mean, yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Are we starting to see a strengthening of that core again? Just gotta wait for this new image to load. Not really. Well, I mean, there's still quite a noticeable core on it. You can see the contamination this silly radar has. Yeah, it definitely was. I saw rotation of a beaver's tail. I'll show you the footage I got. I was in Melksham that day. Yeah, no, there was some ridiculous. There was some ridiculous stuff. I saw a bunch of features of a supercell there, like the rotating updraft, the rain-free base. The radar presentation shows the updraft, or the RFD, and then it also, like, the radar presentation was just textbook supercell, really. Yeah, maybe it is punching into New Cape. It's having a bit of a hard time with lightning, I'm not going to lie. Pretty crazy end to the day. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. It was definitely severe. This storm, yeah, it was definitely. Let's have a look at the. Can we even go back that far? Was there straight line winds that were associated with it? Oh, look, yeah, look at that radar presentation earlier. That was pretty incredible. But I mean, that storm the other day in May, that was a severe thunderstorm that was probably a supercell. Uh, if I get the convective forum up, I can show you the photos I got. Right, I can officially see that the core is over Aylesbury. Yeah, it makes sense. Let's go to severe weather, please. Snowstorm, severe weather. May 2026. There we are. So now it's more of a nice cooling thunderstorm. That'll definitely cool down the air around it. Oh my god, there's a massive moth just flew into